right, troops. I know. A book review video only 2 days after the book dropped? I'm just as surprised as you are. Once in a while, my planets align and I get a whole day to myself. I burned through Archangel Avenging by Rick Partlow in one go. We're talking black ops, orbital insertions, corporate espionage, and one seriously pissed off ex-commando with nothing left to lose. Archangel Avenging is technically book 2 in the Archangel series, but honestly, you can absolutely jump in here without reading book 1 and still have a blast. The story does a great job catching you up without drowning you in exposition. That said, if you do want the full background, how Brent got here, what lit the fuse on his personal war, check out my review of book 1, Archangel Fallen. Now, Archangel Avenging picks up after the explosive events of book 1. Brent Partlow, once a loyal soldier and elite Archangel commando, is now on a one-man crusade to bring down the shadowy corporate overlords and corrupt intelligence operatives who stole everything from him, his family, his future, even his identity. Main baddie from book 1, dead. His elite henchmen, also dead. But Brent's not done, not even close, because the real power, the ones pulling the strings, they're still out there, running the show from behind the curtain. And Brent's not stopping until that curtain's on fire, baby. Archangel Avenging kicks off with an infiltration mission. Brent and Riva go undercover to extract a high-ranking ex-intelligence officer. Why? Because inside the SID, that's basically CIA in space, data cores is a treasure trove of secrets. Secrets like false flag operations that cause devastating wars. So yeah, while the first book was more of a revenge story, this second book in the story leans hard into cloak and dagger territory. I got serious Mission Impossible vibes. Anyways, so Brent captures the officer, but the SID, they're not just chilling. They retaliate, and fast. As the story unfolds, Brent faces an increasingly tangled web of moral compromises, old traumas, and the ever-present question, what do you become when revenge is all that's left? Now let's talk about what I really liked in Archangel Avenging. First off, Brent Partlow. The man is an absolute unit, not just in terms of combat skills, but emotionally. This isn't your cookie-cutter space marine who shrugs off trauma with a sarcastic one-liner. Brent's wrecked. He's been through hell, and you feel every ounce of it in the way he thinks, reacts, and even hesitates. What makes him such a compelling lead isn't just that he's deadly, it's that he's conscious of how deadly he is and what that means. There's a humanity under all that augmented muscle and war-hardened instinct, and it bleeds through in some really subtle, powerful moments. Then there's the tone shift compared to book 1. If the first book was a revenge-fueled bullet storm, Avenging takes a sharp turn into spy thriller territory, and I enjoyed that. That shift doesn't feel forced. It's a natural evolution of Brent's journey, and it works. And I gotta talk about the action. When the action hits, it hits, Rick Partlow style. It's tight, fast, and grounded in that gritty, tech-heavy realism that military sci-fi fans love. Oh, and let's not forget the world building. Rick Partlow doesn't just throw in names like Coalition and SID and call it a day. There's a real sense of political decay here. You feel how vast and corrupted this system is. The corporations, the black ops, the shadow wars, it's all baked in, and you're never overwhelmed by exposition. You just get it as you go, which is how good sci-fi should work. Now, yeah, this is a solid military sci-fi story, don't get me wrong, but there were a few things that kept it from being peak for me. First up, the action. No, the action was great. I mean, this is written by Rick Partlow, you know? Well, if you know, if you don't, you should, but there just wasn't enough of action this time around. I found myself really enjoying those scenes and then thinking, wait, that's it? Book 2 shifts gears into more of a spy thriller vibe, and I respect the tonal evolution. But still, I would have loved just a bit more gunfire, more hand-to-hand, more Brent going full war machine. You've got this genetically enhanced commando with decades of war behind him. I want to see more of what he can do under pressure, not just what he thinks about under pressure. And speaking of Brent, this book is definitely the Brent show. And while I like Brent a lot, actually, there was a moment in the story when it's revealed that Brent is actually not a good guy. I was like, what? Anyways, no frickin' spoilers. I just want to say that the rest of the team is kind of sidelined. In the first book, his crew had a stronger presence. You got more from Gino, Raph, and Yanto. They were a tight, deadly unit with real chemistry. In this one, they're more in the background. Functional, sure, but not spotlight worthy. Also, Brent is out here building a rebellion. He's meeting with broken veterans, recruiting ex-Marines, trying to give them a reason to fight again. That stuff is gold. But we only get glimpses of it here and there. Honestly, I was hoping we'd dive into that part of the story more. And there we have it. Archangel Avenging is a dark and punchy journey. If you want a story that asks hard questions while blasting through enemies with heavy ordnance, this is it. Rick Partlow doesn't just give you gunfights and orbital insertions. He gives you characters who bleed emotionally as much as physically. It's military sci-fi with a soul, and in a genre that sometimes leans too hard on the hardware, that's something worth celebrating. We are reminded that heroes don't always wear uniforms. They sometimes crawl out of the wreckage wearing scars and carrying grudges. I think book 1 was about vengeance. Book 2 is about justice. And I also think if you like this review, you should like and subscribe for more military sci-fi book reviews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Burn bright and burn enough.